This is the Tamron 11-20 f2.8 for Sony APS-C cameras. I personally love this lens, and in this video, I'm going to show you some real world use cases on where I use it on the field, like in my green screen studio, doing green screen shots. I'm also going to show you some handheld examples on the ZV-E10. So here's me attempting a vlog with the 11-20, there's no stabilization. And at the end of the video, I'm gonna tell you the reason why I'm actually gonna sell this lens, even though I actually really like it. And I'll tell you the lens I'm actually gonna be replacing it with. All right, so we're here in the studio. I'm going to set up this ZV-E10 with the Tamron lens. And we're just gonna set up a simple green screen, one light. I'm not even gonna try to light this green screen properly. And then we'll just see how the shot looks. This is the first place I use this lens for interview podcast style setup. Here is the shot with the Sony ZV-E10 and the Tamron 11-20 on the wide end. And here it is zoomed in for the interview style. As you can see, it's a really sharp lens. It just looks great. I really have no issues with this lens. I like the fact that you can go super wide. I also like the fact that you get this sort of medium shot, especially for people like me who have small studio spaces and also who like to film themselves and have bad vision. I like to be close to my camera, and so this is why these wide angle lenses really work for vlogging styles, or if you don't have a lot of space, this is where you would get something like the 11-20. Next example, you can see I am just vlogging around the house, holding the lens handheld. I have steady shot on with the ZV-E10, which is the digital stabilization, but the lens itself does not have stabilization, so you can see that gets a little wonky. So here's me attempting a vlog with the 11-20. There's no stabilization. We're using the Sony steady shot, which I think is kind of horrible, but here, there's this guy eating. There he is. Okay, so here is the reason why I'm actually going to sell this lens. This zoom feature that actually makes it a little longer and bigger than what it needs to be. I personally like smaller lenses. So the lens I'm actually replacing it with is the one that's filming us today. And that's the Sigma 10-18 millimeter. It's a little bit smaller and it's just a more compact version of this lens. Okay, so you can see the difference here from the Sigma and the Tamron at the 20 millimeter and the 18 millimeter, and they're both sort of the same size. But once I zoom into the wider 11 millimeter in the Tamron, the barrel is way out there. And when I do that 10 millimeter for the Sigma, it's not that big. And that's really why I'm swapping them out. They're both similar price points and they're both fantastic lenses. It's really just personal preference at this point. Both lenses are good, but if I had to choose, I'm actually going to be choosing the Sigma, even though it weighs a little bit more, especially because I'm using the ZV-E10. I like to have a smaller setup and just a smaller barrel. It's just a personal preference. And that's the only reason why I'm actually selling it. I actually use this lens for so many things, so many podcasts. I just don't really have a use for it now that I have the Sigma. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.